thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I'm Jeff Graham with the Washington Township STAR program. STAR stands for Safeguarding Township Adult Residents. It actually began 10 years ago when I got transferred here. I used to be a deputy sheriff, and I had a man named Ed walking down Paddington in his PJs in the middle of January, and that's kind of how it started. And I picked up older people since then, and it's grown to 110 people right now. I go in and I introduce myself to them. I try to build camaraderie with them. The biggest topic people like to talk about is politics. And I'll talk politics right there with them. And you may ask, well, what's the point of trying to do all that? So when something hits the fan, they look at me as a trusted friend. And hopefully they'll listen to me. And the best example I could tell anybody about that is one virtually everybody knows, 44 West Whip. That's the big success story I've had. I know you guys were several calls daily on her, and we got that taken care of. If you could see a photo of her from 18 months ago to now, you probably wouldn't recognize her. She's fantastic. But some of the things I do when we get in is I do a medical form. My beat was the North Beat, so I hung out with the guys from 42 on all their calls when they would get there. And I kind of patterned it after what they had pulled out the little yellow paper. 100% of the people I visit have this. And the only thing in my program that I say is not voluntary is if they choose to do this, and again, everyone does, it's hung on the refrigerator. You can't miss it. It might not be right on the front, it might be on the side, it might be towards the bottom, but this form here will be in a clear plastic sleeve with a magnet on the fridge. The medical form has their picture, has their name, their address, their phone number, the date over here when it was last updated. I only update it once a year. I used to do it twice a year, but it takes me essentially 3 months to do these for everybody. And I can't spend half my year doing these papers. I simply can't. But I do tell the people as their prescriptions change, and they will, that they handwrite in updates. But here's what the medical form has on it. The first thing it lists is their medical history. I've heard you ask about that. The next thing it lists is the medications they take. Where are those medications located? What are they allergic to? What hospital they want to go to? Down here, if they have a living will. If so, what does it entail and where is it located? I try to get the people to put a copy of the living will in the plastic sleeve. I have about a half a dozen people that have a DNR CC signed by them, even though it's optional, and their doctor. That form is in with this, and it's also noted on this. I think I have 3 or 4 people that have their body donated to various colleges. Most to Wright State, one lady has it going to UC. All that paperwork, including a copy of the little card that Wright State has with the ID number, is in that packet on the refrigerator. It also lists emergency contacts. I don't know how much that applies to you, but in my former job with the sheriff's office, you always are trying to get a hold of somebody. The phone numbers are accurate. And then lastly, there's a miscellaneous. And usually that will include information about a lockbox that we provide. About half to 2/3 of the people that I visit have purchased a lockbox. It goes on their front door and it has a 4-digit code. That's all listed on this. Now some of this information here, I can leave this or pass it around or however, and if anyone has ideas for improvements, please tell me, because this essentially is for you. I tell the people also that when you come there, there's a good chance you will ask them this information again. I say it's twofold. Number one, you're confirming what I have, but more importantly, you're evaluating them while you're talking with them. But this is there for you. Some of this information is in the computer screens by dispatch. Obviously their name, their address. This is how it's supposed to read on the computer screen. Member of the STAR program, emergency medical forms on the refrigerator, code to the lock boxes 1, 2, 3, 4. The emergency contacts are these people. Now for the handful of people that have their body donated or have a DNRCC signed, I have that listed as well. So that when, hopefully if you check the computer screens on your way to the call, you know it's there. because I've only had one person pass that had their body donated, and they'd only been in the program a month or two. And when Wright State came, time is critical for them. So if you could read that, I just want to honor these people's wishes. So that's essentially what the medical form is for. So that's really about it. I'm sorry, I know it's not very long, but that's what I do. I go out. If you get any recommendations for people, please call me. I am strictly, though, for Washington Township. I don't go to Centerville. My number is 952-9029 if you would ever need to call me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just want to ask, how many participants do you have right now?
110.
110?
And I work 3 8-hour days and 1 4-hour day. But my phone that I just gave, I do monitor it during off-duty time. I don't have it attached to my hip, but I'll periodically go and check it. That's what I do. So please don't feel free to call me on anyone that I can help you with. Once I get my foot in the door, I'm not promising that I'm a miracle worker, but once I get my foot in the door, oftentimes I do have some successes. But if the children are disengaged, that makes it a lot tougher road to hoe, like 44 West Whip. But we finally got her there. So, all right. Well, thanks for your time, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.